What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Chug Nerd YouTube channel. Today we're going to be checking out my #1 guitar, my favorite guitar of all time and my favorite guitar I've ever owned. This. Let me tell you about it. Alright, what is up, everybody? A massive welcome back to the Chug Nerd YouTube channel. My name is DJ. I'm a guitarist from the Southwest. If you're brand new here, allow me 30 seconds to introduce myself. I've been playing guitar for about 20 years or so. I play in a band called HollowKin. We're a groovecore band, lots of heavy riffing, lots of breakdowns, lots of screamy, shouty vocals, double pedally drums, a little sprinkling of melody in there just for funsies. If it sounds like your cup of tea, then you can find us on YouTube and Spotify and all the other streaming services, and I'll leave links down below to everywhere that you can find us. I've been doing this YouTube thing for a little over a year at this point. If you go on to enjoy this video, find it useful or entertaining in any way, it would mean the world to me if you would consider dropping a like, leaving a comment down below, and even going as far as subscribing. And if you want to go the extra mile, you can press that hype button down below. That all goes an enormously long way in helping a very small channel like mine to reach new eyes and to reach new ears. I have loved my last year or so on YouTube, and I cannot wait to see what this next year brings, and it would be wicked and awesome to have you along for the ride. With all of that out of the way, we are here to check out my favorite guitar. Not just my current favorite guitar, not the one that's like piquing my interest at the moment. I'm talking favorite guitar of all time, bar absolutely none. This is my Solar T2.7LN Plus T-style, telly shape kind of guitar. Before we go any further into this review, I think the best way to start would be to see how this sounds in a full demo mix. So let's roll that and then we'll come back for some specifications. This right here is the Solar T2.7LN Plus guitar. At the time of filming, you cannot currently buy this guitar brand new from Solar. I believe they've discontinued it. Maybe it's temporarily out of stock, but either way, it's not showing on their website. When I got this guitar new, this guitar cost me around about £800 plus import tax. So it came in around about £1,000 all in. So just be aware when you're shopping on the Solar website, those prices will incur a tax for your country or an import tax if you're overseas. This guitar has a mahogany mahogany body, a maple top, and a rosewood fingerboard. We've got a 26.5-inch scale length with 24 jumbo nickel frets. The neck profile is listed as a C-shaped Solar, and this is a set through or neck through body construction. We've got a dual action truss rod. We've got Solar's own brand regular tuners. They're not locking or anything fancy like that. We've got a PPC nut, which I think probably just means plastic, which is fine. We'll come on to that in a little bit. The hardware is all Solar's own brand, so the bridge and all the electronics, and the pickups are Solar Duncan Plus pickups. So they are Solar Duncans, but with a little bit more juice behind them. On the electronics side, we have a 5-way blade switch, and we also have a master volume and a master tone as well. Now, I mentioned that this is my favorite guitar of all time, and that is 100% true. This is easily my favorite guitar I've ever owned. It's my favorite guitar I've ever played. Sometimes in life we get really lucky with our guitars and we find that one that kind of fits our body, fits our play style, makes the noises that we imagine in our heads, and just fits everything about the way that we play guitar just perfectly. I'm not gonna pretend that that's going to be the same experience for you, but for me personally, this is the perfect guitar, and I want to share with you all of the different reasons why. Don't get me wrong, it isn't without its faults, but none of those go any way into making me enjoy this guitar any less anytime I pick it up. If you've been here since the inception of this YouTube channel, you may know that I've already done a video on this. I did it about 1 year ago. It was the second ever YouTube video that I ever did, and I just feel like I can do a better job now. Nothing wrong with that video. That video is still fine. It's still got all the specs and tones and all the rest of it, but I think now with a year's experience on YouTube, I can do a better job at explaining what I love about this guitar, things to be mindful about if you're thinking of picking one up, and just give you a general overview of why I love this guitar. Before we jump into those reasons, I want to tell you the signal chain for today's video is exactly the same as always. So we're going to be taking the guitar, the Solar T2.7LN Plus, we're going to be running that into my Focusrite Scarlett Solo interface. That's going to be going into my MacBook Pro with GarageBand loaded up, and in GarageBand we've got the Neural DSP SLO100 plugin that we're going to be using for all of the tones, and they're just my own tone patches that I've made myself. So when I'm talking about guitars, I like to comment on three things. I like to comment on how they look, I like to comment on how they play, and I like to comment on how they sound. To me, those are the most important things. So let's start with the first one, and the first main reason why I love this guitar. I think it looks absolutely awesome. Now, you're gonna have to ignore all of the stickers and the doodles and the dents and dings that are in this guitar. This guitar gets used heavily on tour and gigs all over the United Kingdom with my band, HollowKin. Don't forget to check us out. If you want to know what all the doodles about, I'm not going to go into that in this video. That's not what this video is about. I've done a separate video on that. You can check it out up above in the cards or at the end of this video once you finish watching this one. But the aesthetics of this guitar are what initially caught my eye. I already had a 1.6 series, I think it was an A because it was a neck through. It was an A series 1.6 guitar. It was beautiful, so I already knew I loved Solars. And when they launched this one, I immediately, as soon as I saw it on Instagram, I was like, I need that guitar. And I think I went and I just chucked it on my credit card. And After that, I arranged with all of my family that my Christmas gift that year would be any kind of funds to helping me kind of secure the payment on this. But I bought it almost immediately because I loved it. This color is amazing. It pops on stage. It absolutely pops, especially if there's black lights or UVs and strobes going off. This thing is luminous on stage. It is ridiculous. Quite a polarizing color. I genuinely get a lot of people say it's green. I think it's yellow, but a bunch of people say that this is green. Soundtech famously, well not famously, we're not a big band, but famous in my memory. We were doing sound check and he was like, all right, green guitar, yellow guitar, yellow, green guitar, you on the right. That was literally like, he just couldn't figure out what the color of the guitar was. I think it's yellow. Let me know down in the comments. It's called Lemon, so lemons are yellow. I think it's yellow, but let me know what you think. Let's move on to the playability of this guitar. So this, I'm going to get it right out of the way first of all. This has one flaw. It neck dives. It neck dives pretty hard, I'm going to be honest. So when I'm stood up playing this, I have to use a leather strap, which is absolutely fine, doesn't bother me at all. And once I've got a leather strap over my shoulder, that grips my clothing and it doesn't neck dive anymore, and then I don't notice it. But if you use a nylon strap with this, you will notice it is neck and headstock heavy. So you will be chasing it a little bit. But like I said, if you get a leather strap, won't be a problem. Whenever you're playing it sat down, I do find it most comfortable in a classical position like this. So I have a right angled jack that I use with this one, and I sit in a classical position. I just find that the most comfortable. If I play in like a traditional electric guitar position with it on my right leg, I do find I'm chasing that neck quite a lot, but this position is a really nice, comfortable position to hold this guitar in. With that out of the way though, everything else about this guitar and its playability are spot on. The neck and the fretboard are super, super comfortable. The neck is a satin finish, so it's so smooth to play. The fretboard and the frets, we'll come back to in a second, but to play on, they are absolutely magic. They're so easy to play. It doesn't matter they're not stainless steel. The nickel silver is amazing. This guitar, as you can probably tell, has been played to death, and the frets are as good as new. They haven't worn down. There's no flat spots or anything like that. The access on the back of the guitar up here is incredible, as it is with all Solar guitars. They're all super modern with their belly cuts and accessibility, and this is no different. Getting up to that 24th fret, absolutely no drama at all. Apart from the neck dive, the playability of this is unreal. Every guitar that I own, think about owning, or play gets compared back to one guitar from a sound perspective, and that's this guitar. These pickups are my favorite pickups of any guitar I've ever played. They are the sound that I think a guitar should make in my head when I imagine how a guitar should sound. These pickups are awesome. I don't think they're anything particularly special. They're essentially own brand in-house, but they are Duncan designed, which means that Seymour Duncan and Solar work together to create these pickups. So they're not full-blooded Seymour Duncan pickups, they're kind of halfway in between, but they are absolutely amazing. The plus on it means that they're slightly higher output than traditional Solar pickups, and honestly I still don't think they're particularly hot, which gives you so much control over how they sound when you put it through your amplifier or through your interface into like a DAW or into an interface like the SLO that we're using today. They sound so good, and when you clean them up, especially on positions 2 and 4, which is essentially a coil split on the bridge or the neck, they sound amazing. They're so glassy and chimey and clean and colourful and articulate. The sound is awesome. I love the cleans on this guitar. They are so, so good. This guitar is not brand new.
No way!
However, I did own it from brand new. I did get it from brand new and out of the box, and I thought it's important to comment on how a guitar was out of the box, even though it's like 4 years old at this point and it has been through the ringer and thoroughly loved and enjoyed and taken all over the country. But this guitar, unfortunately, wasn't playable when I first got it. It had a really, really bad high fret on the 3rd fret, and I mentioned in the original video that I did of this guitar that I got this right before Christmas, like I'm talking 3 days before Christmas, and when I opened it up I noticed it. That was the first time I played it. My luthier was on like a Christmas break, so I couldn't do anything with it. So I could kind of play with it and tinker with the low strings, which, let's be honest, that's the main thing that I do, but nonetheless it was super disappointing that it had this high fret. It was bad. It was like you couldn't even play the low strings. They were choking out when you pretty much had them open. I think it was the 2nd or 3rd fret. Anyway, that wasn't in my wheelhouse at the time to fix that myself. I did need my luthier to do it, so it did have to go off to him to get repaired, but once it was an absolute dream. I think that was the only thing. The only other thing was the bridge, I noticed when I then first changed the strings, was super, super loose. I had to screw it right back down into the body, but you know, I don't know if it's not normal. I know it's not normal, but yeah, it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't like it was flapping off. It's just once I took the strings off, it was kind of loose, but a quick tighten up and it's been set ever since. But yeah, that high fret, that was disappointing, and I wanted to mention it in this video just to give full like transparency and review on what a brand new Solar came to me like. One really cool thing that I get to comment on guitars on this channel, because I have a lot of secondhand guitars that I bring through my Project Marketplace series, and obviously I've had this since new, but it's old, and it's not old, it's not vintage, but it has been used and abused heavily, as you can tell. But one really cool thing that we get to look at when you have a guitar that's this old is how well it's held up. Like, it's great to know how a guitar comes out of the box, but once it's out of the box and set up by yourself or perhaps a luthier, it doesn't really matter how it came out of the box, because it's all about then how well it will last for years and years to come. Now, I'm not joking when I say this has been all over the country. This is my #1 guitar. I take it everywhere. This has been the UK, Wales, Scotland. We haven't done Ireland with it yet, but it has literally been up and down the country, in and out of hot, sweaty venues, into freezing cold cars in the winter, into the studio and back again. It goes all over the place, and it has been rock solid that whole time. There has never been any issue. The only thing I'm at the point of needing to do at this point, lots of years since new, is I need to change the volume pot because it's pretty scratchy. But to be honest, out of the years that I've had this, played this, used it, that's kind of by the by. I'm not really too worried about that. I'll get some nice tone pots and volume pots put in, and that'll fix that, no problem at all. Could probably do with a new 5-way blade at some point as well, just because it's not quite as clicky as it used to be, but otherwise everything about this guitar has held up perfectly. The frets, the nut, the tuners, the bridge, after I screwed it back in, everything has held up amazingly. I have no issues with this guitar at all. A couple of people warned me when I first did this video, like, oh, it's gonna crack down the neck like some Solars have done in the past, but touch wood, there's a guitar there. Touch wood, I've had no issues at all with that. The fretboard is as good as new. It's a beautiful piece of wood. It's like a stained rosewood. It's super dark, and I feel like it suits the aesthetic of this guitar really, really well. One thing I think it's worth being aware of, and this is going to seem like a really stupid thing to say, but I've mentioned it in a few videos, a couple of my vlogs that I've done. This guitar is really, really big. And that, like I said, that probably seems really stupid. If you're a bedroom guitarist, then you're probably not going to notice it. But when I'm playing on stage, this thing, I really have to be conscious of where I am, because it's a 26.5-inch scale length. So it's got a longer, slightly longer than traditional scale length. But that 7 inline headstock up here is really big on the end. I have taken a chunk. I'll see if I can get it to focus in. I've taken a chunk out of the top of the headstock up here. Fine, doesn't really bother me. Look at the state of it. But yeah, it is a long guitar. In fact, I have to have a bass guitar case to fit this in, because a regular guitar case didn't fit it because that headstock was so big. But if that doesn't bother you, then that's fine. But again, it's just something I wanted to mention. It's a big old guitar. It's a big old piece of wood, but I love it. I absolutely love this guitar. So with all of that said, I reckon that's gonna be just about everything that I've got today for this particular video on this guitar. This is my baby. This is my number one. This is the one I'd save, you know, if the hypothetical house on fire situation. This is the one I would grab. Even over my Green Day guitar that I was given by Billy Joe Armstrong of Green Day. This guitar means more to me than any of my guitars. It's my absolute favorite. I've never played another guitar that I've thought that's better, or I prefer it to my Solar. Like I said, this isn't me trying to convince you that that will be the same situation for you. All guitars are different. They all suit us differently. They all sit on our body and suit our ears differently. But this, for me, this is like my holy grail guitar. I absolutely love it. If you have an opportunity to try out a Solar, if you never have before, I've had 4 Solars. They've all been absolutely amazing guitars. Genuinely fantastic build quality, apart from this one had high frets, but all the other ones were great. Brilliant build quality, really robust. I hate to use that term, but they are workhorse guitars. This is proof of that, because this has been, I've just enjoyed this guitar so much, and this is going to stay with me for the rest of my life. all so much for joining me for today's video. I've really enjoyed putting this one together. I love this guitar, as probably abundantly clear at this point. Really appreciate you hanging out with me and talking about it today, listening to my tones, listening to me yammer on about how cool it is and how much I love it. I really appreciate it, so thank you so much for watching. If you've subscribed, just know I appreciate you tremendously. If you've hit like, hit hype, or left a comment, again, that just means the world to me, so thank you so much. It'd be really cool to know your stories, your thoughts, your opinions down below in the comments. Let me know if you've got one of these, if you played one of the T-style Solars, and let me know what you think. It's always awesome to hang out with you guys in the comments section and kind of find out your opinions on some of these guitars as well. So I would look forward to chatting with you down in the comments section. Take really good care. Until next time, everybody, in a bit.